Administrator, Dr. Rodriguez, esteemed President, Dr. Washington, STAR luminaries, distinguished guests, STAR advisors, mentors, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Keith Wright, and this is the 8th anniversary of the STARS Network. I serve as the Vice President of Cultural Affairs. Today, our focus is on, again, the STAR Global Futures Forum, an international convening of higher education leaders, scholars, and policymakers to promote the advancing of artificial intelligence, equity, and first-generation success. This year's forum will feature the First in Family series, narratives, and also, with great gratitude from the hearts and visions, we celebrate the extraordinary 8 years of the STAR Scholars Network through our conviction, our scholarship, and community. What began as a bold idea from founding president, Dr. Gaulli, has become a global constellation for scholars, leaders, and dreamers, bound together by purpose. Over these 8 years, STAR has not merely grown, it has flourished. And today, we honor each milestone as a laminated journey. The STAR Scholars Network stands for the Society of Transnational Academic Researchers. Scholars Network is a global forum dedicated to advancing social mobility through research advocacy and international collaboration. These initiatives are designed to bridge the gap between scholars in the global North and South, promoting equity in academic publishing and professional development. STAR, a grassroots organization that builds communities to support the academic mobility and international scholars working across borders. We have here a list of the focus of the different dimensions, whether it is mentoring and professional development with the Millennium Scholars Program, Certified Scholars Program, scholarly publications, meet and greet, the award recognitions with the Global Connection Awards and the Global Education Award. Through research and collaboration initiatives, we have the specialized research clusters and the cross-border initiatives. We have the multi-country collaborative research and ongoing projects such as the Scooping Systems Review, the PRISM studies, the multi-university mixed method studies that involve data collection across international borders. We have the Mapping Community Colleges Around the World, a collaborative project with the Association of Community Colleges and Trustees, the ACCT, to research and document the impact of community colleges globally. Through publications, we have the STAR Scholars Press, Open Journals in Education, the Humane Letters Grant, global events, and the global annual conferences in different parts of the world. And today is a celebration of the Global Futures Forum, a recurring forum addressing high-level challenges such as artificial intelligence and ethics, equity, and the success of first-generation students. The founding president, a visionary, a man of empathy, and a man of clarity and purpose, and a man that promotes an interconnection for a more humane world. These are the dimensions that I would describe our founding president. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to the podium founding President Dr. Uttam Golyi. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good afternoon. I hope the golden voice from our Vice President, Dr. Wright, has really jazzed you up. We have the presence of Honorable Delegate Dr. Bandari from Maryland Legislative Assembly. I would like to welcome and honor the distinguished guests, respected university presidents, policymakers, scholars, advisors, country directors, students, media personnel, AI leaders, AI agents, and friends joining us from across the world, both here in Washington, D.C. and virtually across continents. Welcome. Today, we gather to celebrate 8 years of shaping a more humane world through research, scholarship, and leadership. I extend my deep gratitude to Dr. Michael M. Crow, the president of Arizona State University, for graciously providing us this venue and for modeling innovation-driven and inclusive higher education. It may not be just coincidence that we are on the 8th floor of this beautiful building to celebrate our 8th anniversary. We are honored to convene in a space that embodies the future we seek to build. I warmly acknowledge our entire STAR community, our leadership team, country directors across the nations, our advisory board members, editorial leaders, scholars, students, and partners. Over the past 8 years, you have transformed STAR from an idea to a global scholarly movement. Today, over 20,000 scholars across 115 countries stand united in commitment to shape a more humane world. As we concluded the year 2025, we had a signature event where Dr. Gordon Gee reminded us that universities must regain public confidence through robust dialogues across all perspectives. His words echo loudly today. We are facing a trust crisis. Taxpayers are asking, can we trust higher education? Parents are asking, can we trust institutions with our children? Students are asking, can we trust the system that we inherit? Allow me to begin with a little short story for humor. A group of scientists and professors were invited on a test flight. Once all were seated, the announcement declared, this plane was built entirely by your students. And suddenly, there was a panic. Scholars rushed towards the exits, except one professor who remained calmly in his seat. He was asked, so you are confident you taught your students well? That's not the issue, he replied. Then why are you so calm? He looked up and said, this plane won't fly. That was a joke, but it makes a serious point. We have a trust problem. Generation after generation, humanity has advanced science, medicine, technology, institutions. Yet, alongside the progress, we have also perfected hypocrisy. We protect the powerful, expose the vulnerable, and sometimes launch attacks towards public intellectuals who challenge the status quo. And our children see it. They see through it. Millennials, Gen Z, Generation Alpha, they use artificial intelligence tools increasingly more fluently and efficiently than our generation. They analyze systems, they connect patterns, they also understand that AI is our creation. Let that sink in. The machine is learning from us. If AI reflects humanity, what are we teaching it? Young scholars today have figured out something profound. You cannot hide your lies, no matter how charismatic you are. You may deceive institutions. You may even get away lying under the oath, but you cannot deceive your own conscience. And you certainly cannot deceive a generation that grew up with search engines, open data, and artificial intelligence. As my generation sometimes pulls the fig leaf in one hand and clings to the soapbox in the other, our fertility is visible to our children and to the AI agents. So, who rescues us from this moment? Not a single hero, not a single institution. The savior is integrity. The savior is a generation unwilling to normalize hypocrisy. The savior is trust, rebuilt through honesty. That is why, at this juncture, we must ask ourselves a fundamental question. What do we humans truly want? We want happiness. Happiness is the product of prosperity and peace. Machines will increasingly deliver prosperity, efficiency, productivity, medical breakthroughs, economic growth. Artificial intelligence will accelerate material advancement in ways we can barely imagine. But prosperity alone does not guarantee happiness. Peace does. And peace does not come from algorithms. It does not emerge from automation. It does not arise from data. Peace is a human responsibility. If machines are advancing prosperity, then humanity must advance peace. That is our work. Our global community works tirelessly to align innovation with ethics, scholarship with justice, technology with integrity. Today, as we launch the global AI guidelines for higher education, we send a clear message. Technology must serve humanity, not overshadow it. Innovation must be guided by conscience. Through our Global Education for Peace Award, We recognize institutions embedding peace building into their mission. Through our Academic Wellness Ambassadors program, we train campus leaders worldwide to cultivate empathy, reflection, and well-being. We admire scholarship, but we also care about the well-being of the scholar. Because world peace does not begin with agreements. It begins with awareness. Inner peace shapes institutional peace. Institutional peace shapes national peace. National peace influences global peace. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Rather, it is the presence of consciousness. And consciousness requires courage. So let me say this very clearly. These machines are listening. That's why I addressed them. Even now, they are learning patterns of our speech, our policies, our systems. Let us be clear about what we want as humans. We as humans want peace. And we know that no human can ever be happy alone. Prosperity without justice is fragile. Technology without ethics is dangerous. Education without humanity is incomplete. As we celebrate 8 years of STAR, we do show not as a close community, but as an expanding global movement. We are a Maryland-based registered entity with worldwide reach. Our conversations today are watched across continents. Our responsibility is therefore global. To our distinguished guests here in person and joining us virtually, thank you. Your leadership amplifies this mission. So, as we begin this forum, let's remember this. Some of us feel we can lie to the world. Some feel we can get away with it. But when you are a star, you also know that you can never lie to yourself. So remember who you are. You are a scholar, you are a leader, you are responsible for the systems the next generation will inherit. And yes, you are the star. You are made of the same material, the same stardust that shines. Do not ever, please, forget that. You are a star. Just keep shining bright every single day with integrity. Let this forum be a space of courageous dialogue, moral clarity, and shared responsibility. Let it challenge us to align prosperity with peace, innovation with integrity, and power with accountability. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we shape. And today, together, we begin shaping it with honesty, with courage, and with hope. Thank you, and welcome to the STAR Global Futures Forum.
Thank you, Founding President Gul Yi. And now, I would like to introduce Dr. Christopher Rodriguez, who is the District of Columbia Assistant City Administrator. He contributes to the public safety and emergency management. He formerly held leadership roles, including the Acting Chief Technology Officer and Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, focusing on technology integration and crisis response. Dr. Rodriguez combines a strong academic foundation with a PhD in political science to address complex urban challenges. Dr. Rodriguez is committed to fostering collaborative solutions and enhancing operational resilience to safeguard communities and advance governance. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Dr. Rodriguez.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Gali. I appreciate being invited here to talk to the STAR Scholars. Welcome to the District of Columbia. It's the nation's capital. It's really an honor to join leaders from across the globe who are committed to ensuring that artificial intelligence serves as a bridge to opportunity and not a barrier to it. And that's why we're here. That's why you're here. And why the global AI guidelines that you're launching matter so profoundly. And here's what's at stake. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing here in Washington, D.C. in a moment. By 2030, experts estimate that about 85 million jobs in this country will be displaced by automation, while 97 million new roles will require AI, some level of AI literacy. And the question isn't whether AI will transform education and work. It's whether that transformation will reduce inequality or accelerate it. And that's why, that's why we're here. And that's what we want to talk about today. From the perspective of the district, we have been engaged quite extensively over the last several years in talking about some three core principles as we roll out AI, and particularly in our education system. We believe technology must be a tool for closing gaps, not widening them. Our first principle is really equity first. In Wards 7 and 8, which are historically the most economically challenged parts of the country, we're deploying over $100 million in federal broadband equity, access, and deployment funding to ensure that every student has high-speed internet at home. Because you can't participate in an AI-powered economy, right, if you can't get online reliably. But access alone isn't equity. We're also training educators across all of our 8 wards on AI literacy, not just how to use these tools, but also when to use them and when not to use them, and how to ensure they don't perpetuate the biases that already exist in our system. The second principle is human-centered technology. Now, that means keeping educators at the center of innovation. This year, DCPS, our DC public school system, is piloting AI-powered tools that help teachers identify when students are struggling. Not to replace teacher judgment, but to give them insights that they can act on. Now, here's what we're not doing, because I think that's important to talk about as well. We're not replacing teachers. We're not replacing teachers with chatbots or using AI to make high-stakes decisions about children or student placement, or deploying technology without educator input. Because the relationship between a student and teacher isn't a bug to be eliminated through automation, right? It's the feature that makes education work. Our third principle is transparency and ethical guardrails. Transparency is not optional here in the nation's capital, and under Mayor Bowser's leadership, DC has established AI values requiring every AI system used in government, including education, to undergo values alignment against 6 key criteria: fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, safety, and human oversight. This means that when an AI tool is proposed for use in our schools, it just doesn't have to work technically. It has to demonstrate it won't perpetuate bias, and it has to explain its decision-making, and which also includes having a human override. Students and families, we believe, have a right to understand how and why technology is being used to shape their educational experience. Now, let me make this even more concrete. Every DC public school student from pre-K through 12th grade now has access to computer science education. Right now, they have that access. Not as an elective, but as a foundational skill for everyone. Because if AI is going to shape their future, they deserve to understand how it works. Now, like the narratives unveiled today in First in the Family, we're investing in students who are first in their families to navigate higher education. Through our DC Tuition Assistance Grant Program, we provide up to $15,000 annually for DC residents attending college, because financial barriers shouldn't determine who gets to participate in an AI-powered economy. We're also looking at university partnerships, including with some of our universities here in the city. We're partnering with Howard, with Georgetown, with American, and UDC, the University of the District of Columbia, to create AI ethics courses specifically designed for first-generation students and students of color, ensuring that the next generation of AI developers includes the communities most impacted by these technologies. And we're not just teaching students, we're educating families. Our digital equity initiatives include community workshops where parents learn about AI tools their children are using, the implications for privacy, and how to advocate for their kids in an increasingly automated education system. Now, in closing, the global AI guidelines being launched today represent a critical step forward, but guidelines alone won't ensure equity. We need willpower, we need investment, and we need buy-in from all stakeholders. We need accountability. Our job and the work of everyone in this room is really to ensure that the next generation doesn't have to be bound by the barriers that sometimes exist in society to access AI benefits. We have an opportunity to design these systems right from the beginning, and that's what we're committed to here in the District of Columbia and in partnership with you all. Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to address you.
Stand by. I would like to invite Delegate Dr. Harry Bhandari from the Maryland General Assembly. He is first elected to the Maryland House of Delegates in 2018 and sworn in on January 9th, 2019. He represents the District 8 in Baltimore. He serves on the Economic Matters Committee, member of Housing and Real Property, and chair of Land Use and Zoning Subcommittees. Previously served on the Health and Government Operations Committee and related subcommittees from 2019 to 2025. Dr. Bhandari, as delegate, is chair of the Maryland Legislative Asian American and Pacific Islander Caucus since 2023. He is a member of the Maryland Legislative Latino Caucus. In his forms of advocacy and community service, he is a member of Baltimore County's Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee since 2013 and is the recipient of the Baltimore County Asian American Board in 2017 in recognition of his community leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maryland Delegate Dr. Bhandari.
Good afternoon, scholars, leaders, and friends. It's a very surreal that I do remember, almost it must be 8 or 9 years ago when I met Dr. Goli. I went to his apartment and he was thinking about this, and to see all this beautiful smile in the the organization growing in this label. It's wonderful. Let's give a big hand of applause to Dr. Goldie and his team. Today, we're not simply celebrating 8 years of in organizations. I believe we are celebrating a movement. When I was looking this brochure, from 115 countries and more than 20,000 scholars and leaders, these networks prove that knowledge has no borders. Curiosity needs no passport, and collaboration requires no visa. In a world too often defined and divided by all sort of division, these organizations and you all have chosen one thing: connections. And not just simply connections, quality, connected, relationship. In a time when walls make headlines, you have built the breezes. And now we all stand at a defining moment in history, the age of artificial intelligence. AI, I'm an educator as well. Last night I was thinking, I have co-authored a couple of AI bills. We passed certain bills. It's coming, it is already there. And I was thinking how we could integrate to K through 12 education in our state. And it is here, it's real. It is transforming research, medicine, business, and government, whether you like or not. In our legislature, we passed several AI bills to ensure innovation and match with responsibility as well. And we understand that technology, as Dr. Gowley, he emphasized, must be guided by values as well. And the future of the workforce is already sitting in our K through 12 educations, classrooms, at university classrooms, right? And we should not be fear. And our children must not fear AI. They must understand it. They must not compete against it. They must learn to work with it. And they must not be left behind. They must lead. That means incorporating AI thoughtfully into K through 12 education, teaching ethics alongside engineering, critical thinking alongside coding, and creativity alongside computation. AI can generate information. We know that for sure. But only educators, professors can generate the wisdom. AI can replace everything, but cannot replace the connections, the human connections. And this AI definitely will save our time, and we could use that to build a network, to give that time to our family, to our community. And I understand AI needs global perspective. It needs diverse voices as well. It needs scholars across border, ensuring that innovation serves humanity, not the other way around. 8 years ago, this was a vision. Today, you guys are global force. Tomorrow, it can shape how the world learns, leads, and innovates. The future, I strongly believe, as an educator and public servant, will not be written by machine alone. It will be written by educated, ethical, courageous mind. And I see those minds in this room and across the globe. And it's always hard to advocate for vulnerable people. And to be an educator, we need to have special DNA. everybody cannot be educated. There should be something. And when we see people, they look very happy inside, and they talk about a lot of things, their accomplishment, their degree, their whatever monetary values. If you ask them, are you really happy? They stop and think. And if you are not happy inside, you can't create happiness outside. You know, we got 85 billion neurons, and we have a prefrontal cortex. All the time we are talking about the reasoning and hippocampus, it stores memories and stuff like that. If we do not build our connections, there will not be neuroplasticity. We may not be able to make the new neurons, but it's a connections. And the work our professors are doing, our teachers are doing, is a guiding principle for all of us. Without the instruction, there cannot be inspiration. Without the inspiration, there cannot be engagement. I always talk about 3 C's: a character, a commitment, and a confidence. Where does it start? Start in a classroom. Start in our brain. Therefore, it's so honor, so pleasure to be here. And I was reading Dr. Bistra's another book. I'm the first Nepalese American ever elected. And had passed author 24 bills enacted into law. And my commitment is always to vulnerable. I do remember, to pass a deaf and hard of hearing bill took me 5 years, and it became the first after Hawaii in the nation. I understand fighting for kids, fighting for vulnerable, no matter what they are. No matter. It's not easy. It is not easy. But at the end of the day, we know one thing. Millions of people die while sleeping. When we wake up, we recognize the same familiar voice. We see the sun, lights, and you can breathe. We are happy. And we should smile. And if you remember, like your mother's side, thousands of them, your father's side, thousands of them. Remember just for a second. If they have not met, that pretty split second, anything could happen. We would not be here. We would not be here. Think about thousands of mothers on the mother's side and thousands of father on father's side. Therefore, this life is beautiful, no matter what, and you are doing the beautiful world, teaching kids, shaping the world. At the end, giving a new life. And thank you. Wish all the best to Star Scholars Network. And congratulations and a happy 8th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Dr. Bandari. We have one presentation from esteemed President Dr. Jonathan Algier of American University. Dr. Algier was selected as American University's 16th president, bringing extensive experience in research, leadership, civic engagement, legal scholarship, and institutional growth to the university as it continues its mission of empowering global change makers. He was not able to be here today, and he has a message.
My name is Jonathan Alger, and I have the honor of serving as president of American University here in Washington, D.C. I'm sorry I was unable to join you in person, but I'm currently traveling back from my daughter's wedding. Welcome to our capital city. For 8 years, the Star Scholars Network has brought together more than 20,000 scholars and changemakers from across the globe to build community and collective power. And today, you're part of an important effort to advance a shared vision for higher education institutions worldwide that builds on the STAR Network's commitment to ethical innovation, equity, and global academic collaboration. From new global guidelines on the ethical, inclusive, and responsible adoption of artificial intelligence, to the First in the Family book series developed in partnership with the Lumina Foundation to celebrate first-generation college graduates, the STAR Global Futures Forum will help to pave a new path forward for all of us in higher education. On a personal note, issues of access and opportunity are near to my heart. When I was the president of James Madison University in Virginia, I started a program called Valley Scholars that provided a tuition-free pathway to college for hundreds of first-generation students in the Shenandoah Valley. Building global connections, advancing equity, and increasing civic engagement are all key to our mission at American University. We were founded more than 130 years ago in Washington, D.C. to train the public servants of the future. Today, we're an R1 research institution with scholar teachers who share their research in the classroom and partner with students in the laboratory and in the community. Knowing that our world is more interconnected than ever, we're strongly committed to global partnerships. This past fall, for example, I was able to visit our study abroad centers and partners in Nairobi, Kenya, and Brussels, Belgium. These relationships are part of our overall commitment to civic and community engagement at all levels, as we believe that higher education is a public good for all of society, as well as a private benefit for individual students. We look forward to working together to empower new generations of scholars to work across borders. Congratulations to the Star Scholars Network for 8 years of global scholarly engagement, academic diplomacy, and higher education leadership, and to the Star Luminaries who are being recognized for shaping a more humane and just world. And thanks to all of you for being part of this important effort. Have a great meeting and come visit American University when you can.
George Mason University's esteemed President Gregory Washington leads Virginia's largest, most innovative, and most diverse public university, an institution ranked among the nation's top 30 public universities by the Wall Street Journal and recognized as a national leader in the advancing upward mobility for all students from different backgrounds. Since assuming the presidency in July 2020, President Washington has forged strategic partnerships, expanded academic and entrepreneurial pathways, advanced major capital projects across Mason's 3 Virginia campuses and 848 acres, and overseen the highest level of sponsored research expenditures in university history. He has also strengthened student well-being by significantly expanding mental health resources, including the launch of 24/7 support services. In 2023, he introduced Mason Now, Power the Possible, a $1 billion comprehensive campaign to advance student success, research, innovation, community engagement, and sustainability. The same year, President Washington was inducted into the National Academy of Engineering. Please welcome the esteemed president from George Mason, Washington.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you all for coming here today and thank the organizers for putting this together, Dr. Wright, Dr. Gully. Can we please give them a round of applause? Look, the reality is that, and as you heard some today, higher ed is going through, it's experiencing significant trauma and change, right? There's greater accountability, some of it merited, some of it actually not. The attacks on DEI and many of these other frameworks, I think, are unfounded and unmerited. We're experiencing challenges to our business model from a financial stability and sustainability perspective. You heard the discussions with Dr. Ghali a little while ago. Market relevance and our students and what our students do after they graduate is also a challenge. And then we are dealing with how fast can we adjust to this changing society? Institutional agility. And that agility is compounded. The challenges there are compounded by artificial intelligence and the change that artificial intelligence is bringing to us. Look, AI was designed to disrupt. That's why it was put in place. There are hundreds of companies that are investing billions in it doing just that. If I just take 3 companies alone, I was listening to earnings reports over the last couple of weeks, but just 3 companies alone, Alphabet, Meta, and Amazon, this year will spend $500 billion, a little over $500 billion actually, in investments in AI infrastructure alone. That's just 3 companies. $500 billion in something that has been put in place to disrupt. They are betting their futures on that disruption. But what will that disruption actually bring? What do they know it will bring? All of those, it will do things faster. We'll solve problems that we never thought capable, and we'll solve them in record time. Those of us who are most astute will have these tools and these entities working right alongside us to solve the future problems of tomorrow. But all the outcomes won't be good. The reality is the utilization of anything with the spoken or written word will dramatically change because AI already is so much better at doing that than we are. I found this out personally when I took, my background is in the space. Been working in the space since the 1990s. I hope that doesn't tell you how old I am. I took one of my best papers and put it in Notebook LM. Said, summarize it, create a presentation from it, and give me an infographic. And it did that. And when I read back what it gave me, it was far better than anything I could write myself. It's literally on the document that I had written, right? And that is because it has the ability for pulling not just the knowledge of what I put in place, but the knowledge of all of the scholars who also contributed in that space. And it's able to bring that out in literally microseconds. And so the reality is it was better than I and what I had actually done. And we're going to have to reckon with that as a society of humans. We'll also need fewer humans to do tasks at all levels. That is both thinking task and physical task, because the AIs will design the robots to do tasks, and those robots will ultimately outperform humans in many of those same tasks. So our goal is twofold here. A, how do we adjust? We know it's coming. We got to adjust to it. And B, how do we ensure that the most vulnerable among us are included? AI will create tremendous wealth. We need to have everyone participate in that wealth creation, right? Even though the change will cause us some challenges and consternation, I ultimately believe that the outcomes, the benefits will far outweigh the challenges. We just have to figure out how to get there. Here's what I will tell you without a benefit of the doubt. That in order to do this and do this right, you need committed higher ed institutions. We have to be at the basis of it because the reality is we are the only fair and honest brokers in the business. That will be us. Now, I hear you. We got challenges. I highlighted some of them earlier, right? There is a trust issue, as Dr. Gully highlighted. But let me give you the other side of that. Look, the blueprint for the modern world comes out of the university. Public research universities are responsible for 2/3 of the basic research done in the world today. This has given us the lithium ion battery, GPS technology, CRISPR-Cas9 technology. Pull the unit out of your pocket and take a hard look at it. 85% of what comes out of that phone, that device, came through a college and university. I sat down with some of the developers of that technology, right? And some of the scholars and leaders who are still with us today, who work for and have started many of these most dominant companies of our day. And they highlighted how they pulled that together out of academic institution. For every $1, and I know I got my government folk in here, and so I'm going to speak to you just for 1 second. For every $1 invested in public higher education, there's a $3 return in tax revenue. A typical bachelor's graduate contributes $381,000 more in taxes over their lifetime than they would, $381,000 more in taxes over their lifetime than they would actually use in the government services that led to that increase. In contrast, high school graduates contribute about $26,000 more than what they actually use. So there's a huge multiplying effect. Every dollar a state invests in public higher ed returns an estimated $3 to the state in increased tax revenue and wages. Lifetime government expenditures are approximately $82,000 lower for a college graduate than for a high school graduate due to decreased reliance on public support and public assistance programs. College graduates volunteer 3 times more likely to volunteer. They participate in our voting outcomes. During the presidential election, 75% of bachelor's degree holders vote compared to 52% of those with high school degrees. With high school educated. And they contribute less in crime. They're 5 times less likely to be in prison with a college degree. I can go on, right? And I'll wrap it up with this. At age 25, the life expectancy of a college graduate is 7 years longer than that of someone who did not attend college, right? So you have all of these benefits that directly correlate from higher ed. And so I get that there are challenges, there are things that we're missing, there are things that we have to fix, but the outcomes of what we are producing far outweigh the trust. No, I don't believe there is a trust issue. I believe there's a communications issue. We're not telling our story. And when we tell it, we're not telling that whole truth. Look, I am a beneficiary of those outcomes. I was the first in my family to go to school. And I immediately, upon my bachelor's degree receiving, saw the benefits that I was achieving. And I pressed upon my mother, go back, go back, go back. She finally went back to school. She got her first degree, her bachelor's degree, when I got my terminal degree. Within 6 months of graduation, her salary doubled. She had a better outcome in terms of a career relative to a job. She didn't have to work 3, 4 jobs at a time as she was working as I was growing up, right? She wound up retiring with a great career, and she's living a good life now in retirement. So I've actually seen the benefits and seen how those benefits go back. That is what we're doing. Look, but it's not just any old academic institution. And this is the last thing I will say to you. You got to invest in institutions that are doing this the right way. George Mason University is one of those institutions, right? We graduate the largest number. We're the largest four-year institution in the Commonwealth. We graduate the largest number of graduates in the Commonwealth. Those graduates, 86% of them go to work in the DMV. They work right here. They're the highest wage earners in the region. And yes, that includes my good friend, John Alger at American. I'm here in person. Tell John that next time you see him. Look, a third of our students are low income, a third of our students are first generation. We get the largest number of tag students produced in the DC metropolitan area, come to school at George Mason, they graduate, they get high paying jobs, and they come back in the district and work. Find those institutions that are doing things the right way, invest in them. Here's what that will do. That will provide a vision to other institutions who want that investment. And we can start to change some of the trust issues. There are great institutions all over. You got them in Maryland. A great friend of mine is the president at Towson. They're doing great work in this space. Another great friend of mine is the president at the University of Maryland, College Park. And if I didn't mention them, he would kill me. They're doing work in this space as well. You got really good leaders in this region who understand, who get this, and who care. Get behind them, support them. I can't talk in detail about all of the programs that we have in place that provide for work in this space, but I can tell you that there are a cohort of leaders here who care, who want to do this and do this the right way, and have enough technical background and understanding in order to do it the right way. We are actually here for you. We look forward to partnering with you, and I look forward to having great outcomes as we move forward on this item. Thank you.
The esteemed Dr. Salvador Aceves is president of the University of San Francisco. He is the 29th president of the University of San Francisco, elected unanimously by the Board of Trustees. He is the first lay person and first Latino president in the university's 170-year history, a significant milestone in the USF's leadership and diversity. He is the 29th president. He is also an alumnus of the university. He is well known for integrating his Jesuit Catholic mission with academic excellence, fiscal responsibility, and community engagement throughout his career. Esteemed President Aceves, welcome.
Thank you so much, and greetings from the University of San Francisco. The University of San Francisco is one of 27 Jesuit Catholic institutions across the United States. And it is truly a joy to be with you the STAR Scholars Network, as we gather to talk about the future of global higher education. I want to congratulate the network on its 8th anniversary. It is also an honor to join so many inspiring leaders from our academic community. At USF, our mission is clear: to be a distinction where education awakens both the mind and the heart of our students. We are rooted in faith and guided by the vision of St. Ignatius. We view learning as a sacred trust that calls us to share knowledge, compassion, and courage to help build a more just, faithful, and hopeful world. At the University of San Francisco, we stand with those at the margins. Our mission calls us to listen to our brothers and sisters whose struggle reveals the deepest inequities in our society. Their voices remind us that we listen with openness. We discover both the resilience of our communities that have long been overlooked and the pathways towards meaningful change. As we look ahead to the future, USF has engaged with others, including the STAR Scholars Network, in our commitment to advancing global scholarship, peace, and student success. As we say at USF, our promise is to change the world from here. Now, I was inspired by the words of Dr. Ghali, especially as we look to rebuild trust in our system of higher education. As a first-generation college graduate myself, I am delighted to welcome a growing number of first-generation students to USF. I honor my parents' dreams to embrace the opportunity that is afforded by our wonderful nation. So I want to conclude my brief remarks simply by expressing my deep gratitude for the opportunity to be with you. And again, congratulations to the STAR Scholars Network and your commitment to help make our world a more just and humane place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, esteemed President Chavez. Esteemed President George Boggs is President and CEO Emeritus of the American Association of Community Colleges and Superintendent President Emeritus of Palomar College, a nationally recognized leader in community college education, and continues to serve as a consultant, teacher, author, and speaker. He serves on the National Academy of Sciences Board of Science Education and the Phi Theta Beta Kappa International Honor Society Board, where he is vice chair. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the esteemed President Boggs. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and it's great to be with you. Greetings from Southern California. So first of all, let me start by congratulating the STAR Scholars Alliance on 8 years of making a big difference across the world for educational opportunity. And I'm looking forward to the unveiling of the global AI guidelines. We're seeing technology expanding so rapidly that we haven't been able to keep up with the necessary guidelines to avoid abuses in ethical and legal issues. So I'm looking forward to that. I must tell you, though, that our colleges are already developing curricula in AI in response to the needs of business and industry. So we're seeing a great expansion of that technology. Also, I'm looking forward to launching a First and Family. Like many of you, I'm a first-generation college student, as are most of our students in open access institutions. It really is a reflection of how we have opened access to higher education and training opportunities across the world. But we must do better than just provide access. Our institutions are now focusing also on improving the success rates of our students. We're moving away from just measuring processes and resources to measuring outcomes like graduation rates and completion rates, transfer rates, and job placement rates. These kind of data must be disaggregated so we can tell whether we are doing the best job we can across races and genders and income levels. We must know our students and the barriers and challenges they face. For example, in American community colleges, 66% of our students attend part-time because they are working at least part-time and raising families and addressing other needs. 58% of our students in American community colleges are students of color. It always astonishes me how many of our students struggle with basic needs, food insecurity and housing insecurity. So we must do whatever we can to help our students to be successful. Also, we know that a lot of our students struggle with financial issues, and so we must be aware of the cost of education for these students. In community colleges in America, the average tuition is $4,050 per year compared to four-year schools that average $11,610 per year. At all of our institutions, we must do what we can to keep costs reasonable and to provide financial aid for our students. Well, we heard from Dr. Washington that higher ed in the United States is facing significant challenges and political intrusion. I think what we need to do is maintain a strong focus on our mission and vision as institutions of higher ed. We must continue to focus on providing access and opportunity, but also help our students to be successful. We must respond to community and student needs and the needs of business and industry. We've got to continue to be creative and innovative as institutions. We need to be entrepreneurial, to think of ways that we can provide the resources we need to accomplish our mission and help students to be successful. And we need to evaluate our programs and do the research necessary to continue to improve as institutions. And then, as Dr. Washington mentioned, we need to communicate. We need to do a much better job of communicating the value of our institutions to public officials and to the community at large. Thank you very much. I appreciate your invitation to be with you, and look forward to the rest of the program.
Thank you, esteemed President Boggs. Dr. Mirka Koro is a professor at Mary Lou Fulton College for Teaching and Learning at Arizona State University, whose scholarship explores qualitative research through the lenses of methodology, philosophy, and social culture critique. Her work spans diverse theoretical frameworks from post-positivism to new materialism and post-human critique, addressing research design methods, validity, and the challenges posed by simplicity, technicality, and neoliberal pressures in the contemporary qualitative research. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Dr. Koro.
Welcome. Tervetuloa. I'm originally from Finland, and I'm here and I have multiple roles. I start with my role as a representative at ASU. So I very much would like to welcome you to DC and ASU campus. I come from the space where we also originally, but at ASU and Arizona, where histories and the local communities are really important. And I want to also foreground that when I'm starting my interactions with you here. So I would respectfully like to acknowledge that we are gathering on the ancestral homelands of Nagotchatong, Piscataway, and Pamunkey peoples who have served as stewards in this region for generations. We honor their past, present, and ongoing contributions. I'm very excited to be here and represent ASU and meet you all. Be a member of this wonderful and important community and opportunity to meet you all in person. I see many similarities and shared goals between ASU and the Star Scholars Network. As you may be noticed when you entered into the space, our mission was out there on the wall, that ASU is a comprehensive public university measured by not who it excludes, but who it includes and how they succeed. Advancing research and discovery of a public value and assuming fundamental responsibility for the economic, social, cultural, and overall health of the communities it serves. So very much community orientation is also why we are here and getting connected and networked. Star Scholars is also grounded in the values of inclusion, global representation, and public and common good, as well as the importance of education and research. The grassroots movement, the opportunities for scholars to work across borders, and the care and the ethics for communities, they display a very plausible and they are very important values to me and for all of you here. It is a pleasure to be one of the transnationally networked scholars and academically driven educators who are making a difference in a local context as well as global communities. I come from the community where my neighbors cannot pay their electrical bills because of the AI data centers. I come from the community where my students, my doctoral students, cannot come to class because ICE is in their network, in their neighborhoods. I come from the community where the first generation experience is valued and celebrated and supported. And therefore, I'm also very happy to be and have been the editor in the book series that you have a copy on your seat. It was a really big pleasure to mentor these young writers and helping them to edit and encourage them to empower their life stories, share their life stories, and the ways that they have succeeded in academia. Thank you, Lumina Foundation, for supporting this important work and giving a voice and a space for resistance, resilience, and a place to foreground the power of cultural capital and community support. The collection, which you will hear more in the next phase of this event, it offers beautiful stories, identities, diverse and challenging and joyful journeys, stories of life in its fullest. Kudos to the authors who have shared and who have teaching us how college and higher education can transform the lives and cultivate intellectual and creative capacity within all of us. I highly recommend that you read those stories and they will linger and stay with you, I hope, shaping the future and the experiences of the next generation of first generation students and scholars. Congratulations, 8-year-old Stars Network. I'm really proud to be a member of you.
For one moment. Actually, Dr. Gali, will you join us here? Oh, sure. Again, Dr. Gali, this is significant, and actually, I want you to join Dr. Gali. Dr. Koro is significant in Dr. Gali's life. And Dr. Gali, again, was mentored by Dr. Koro at the University of Florida. So this is, again, so we have a plaque that we'd like to present to Dr. Koro. And this is in recognizing her special cultural fabric from the Himalayas, which represents Basu Dayaba Hutukum Bakam, a profound respect for humanity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Dr. Coro is also one of today's star luminaries, her meritorious work. I would like to ask Delegate Bhandari and esteemed President Washington to join. We have a special gift that Delegate Bhandari would like to present to esteemed President Golyi.
This is a citation. Unfortunately, our governor could not be here, but I have a citation from Maryland Legislative Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus, official citation. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to Star Global Future Forum, advancing AI, equity, and first-generation success in recognition of its 8th anniversary celebration and its continued global leadership in advancing ethical innovation, education equity, and opportunity for first-generation scholars presented on this day by Delegate Harry Bhandari, PhD Chairman, AAPI Caucus.
Just a second. Can I invite my leadership team to join me on receiving this? Dr. Vista, Madam Secretary, Dr. Jacob, everybody. Yeah, everybody in the leadership team.
Okay, here. We have a series of luminaries that are going to have an opportunity to receive celebration. The first is Dr. Mirka Koro. Next slide. So the luminary series, and we have esteemed President Michael Crow will receive, again, for his meritorious service, expertise as an architect, science and technology policy scholar in higher education. Again, his work with institutional excellence, inclusivity, representative of ethnic and social economic spectrums of the United States, and collaborative problem solving dedicated to consequential society impact. Dr. Koro will receive the award on behalf of on behalf of President Crow. Next, we have Dr. Amani Saleh.
Congratulations, Dr. Saleh.
Dr. Amani Saleh is, again, meritorious comparative education, Oxford Fellow Scholar, an immense mentor at Arkansas State University. I have enjoyed working through and with Dr. Saleh on the Global Connection Awards Committee. I invite Dr. Bista to recognize her for her outstanding contribution as an advisor, editor, and Star Scholars community, and has his mentor at Arkansas University. Again, he is presenting, again, the cultural fabric from the Himalayas as a symbol of gratitude and respect. Do you have that? Next, we have, again, Dr. Rudra Bhatta. Dr. Bhatta is a physicist and, again, material science researcher specializing in thermal and electronic transport and advanced materials with over 2 decades of research and teaching experience. He has advanced, again, energy conversion technologies and innovative measurement techniques. Next is Dr. Gopri Uprati. Dr. Uprati, again, emeritus from Trivandrum University, 2024 Global Connection Awards Lifetime North Star winner, has written immense work on eco poetry. His recent publications are, again, From Ruin to Renewal, as, again, it's an meritorious contributions in measurement and generative consciousness. Next is Dr. Benjamin Welsh. Dr. Welsh, again, is distinguished at Morgan State, where he mentors doctoral scholars and advances, again, research integrity. Is, again, committed as a contributor to the Star Scholars Network, and again, with economic foundations of schooling and social justice. Next is Dr. Courtney Brown. Her meritorious work with the Lumina Foundation, her work within, again, the First Family Series, which we're going to hear more of shortly, has been immensely significant as a celebration. Next, we have, again, Dr. Robert Groves. I'm not sure if Dr. Groves may not be here, okay. We have, again, Dr. Maureen Manning. Dr. Maureen Manning is internationally recognized for strategic communications and global education, founder of the Global Nexus Collective, where she helps institutions clarify their narrative, expand their global impact, award-winning scholar, and as an advisor to Star Scholars Network. Thank you. Next is Dr. Matros Helms. Immense work with artificial intelligence and has had an immense impact in terms of her community college association's educational services, has recently published 3 volumes of books in the collaboration with Star Scholars, and again, an extensive national leader and experience of higher education on the American Council of Education and the University of Minnesota. Next is Dr. Ravi Amingan, who is the associate provost from the University of Delaware, is meritorious in his mentoring of students or graduate students of global programs as an author and associate. So he is not able to join us today, but he is one of the Pi 50 top voices shaping the future of global education. Next, we have Dr. Marina. Dr. DeMaria, with this, again, meritorious work as Vice Provost for Global Engagement for the University of Maryland, Baltimore City, is nationally recognized as an international education leader. Dr. DeMaria is an editor an advisor for the journals and the books for the volumes of the Star Scholars Network. Next, we have Mr. Tinsina, who is, again, a research of finance and the CEO of the Everett Federal Credit Union. Thank you for your meritorious service with Star Scholars. We want to thank Dr. Christopher We want to thank Dr. Christopher Rodriguez. Look forward to, again, leveraging our further future initiatives. Next, we have Dr. Lauren Henderson. And her immense work, again, within research, service to Star Scholars, her publications, and as a mentor, again, for Dr. Bandari, has been of immense meritorious service to Star Scholars in the state of Maryland. Next, we have Dr. Anthony Ogden. Dr. Ogden has had, again, an immense connection with Star Scholars as an advisor, editor of journals and volumes and book volumes for Star Scholars. As a senior international educator, widely published in connections with Penn State Dickerson Law. Next, again, the Luminary of the Year, which is none other than the esteemed President, Dr. Crow, for his meritorious connection with Star, his meritorious connections with the further intersection of ASU, Star, and how he was able to be of great service for us here today. And look forward to furthering our leveraging our connections with ASU and all of the governing universities here in the DC intersection areas. And now we're going to continue with our First in Family series. Executive Vice President, Dr. Krishna Bista, is again the Star Scholars Network Fulbright Specialist for Australia and Greece, and the 2025 PI Top 50 Voices in the United States. Recognizing, again, influential leaders across, again, North, Central, and Southern America. He has, again, authored and edited over 40 books and has been immense within his leadership, both within the Star community, and I have immensely enjoyed our travels. It has been just an immense delight. I welcome you, Executive Vice President Krishna Bista.
First of all, congratulations, everyone. Congratulations, Luminaries. Good afternoon, Stars. Esteemed Star President Dr. Gali, Honorable Delegates Dr. Bandari, Star Vice Presidents, Honorable City Dr. Rodriguez, JMU President Dr. Washington, Star Luminaries, distinguished guests, Star advisors, mentors, ladies and gentlemen. It is a true privilege to welcome you here today. And yes, my name is Krishna Bista, and I'm also a professor of higher education at Morgan State University. Have a pleasure of serving as your senior executive vice president of Star Scholars. Star Scholars is a global scholar-led network committed to advancing equitable access to research, publishing, and professional growth in higher education. We are an inclusive community of scholars, practitioners, and researchers worldwide who believe that knowledge should not be limited by geography, language, or privilege. Two reasons why Star Scholar Publishing is truly unique and different from the market. First, we believe that high-quality academic publishing should not be reserved for the privileged few. Our model opens door for scholars across the region, institutions, and career stages. We make publishing attainable without compromising the rigor or quality. Second, our decisions are guided by scholars in the field, not by the revenue or market trends. We make a priority of intellectual contribution over the sales numbers, ensuring meaningful and innovative scholarship in that has a home. Star Scholar was founded on a simple and powerful belief that knowledge should be accessible, inclusive, and globally shared. Through our conferences, professional development initiatives, journals, and the books, we have helped thousands of voices that find that platform helpful. Among other things, I led the Star Scholar Press, a scholar-led university press serving member of institutions, professional associations, and global partners in higher education. We publish hundreds of books annually and support over 5,000 authors across our journals and 40 book series. So publications through Star Scholars meet established institutional standards for tenure and promotion and doctoral degree completion. Many of our authors rely on these peer-reviewed work to satisfy the formal academic requirement for career advancement and graduation. Beyond credentials, these publications strengthen the scholarly identity of our authors. We provide a platform where scholars can write and publish their work in their preferred language, and where emerging and established researchers are supported through mentorship, peer review, conferences, and professional development opportunities. I'm grateful to our entire team at Star Scholar Publishing Unit, including Dr. Roy Chen, the Director of Publications. You are the change maker. Thank you. I'm grateful to all editors and authors who contributed to these meaningful research projects. More grateful to our busy practitioner scholar who have contributed to editing and publishing volumes at Star Scholars. For example, Vice Provost Dr. Ravi Amigan from the University of Delaware, he published one of the latest volume, 100 Years of Study Abroad. We have some copies on the desk. Dr. Patricia Timmons from Harvard Kennedy School of Governance published Passport to Possibility last week. ARC Executive Director Dr. Clay Harmon published 2 volumes on innovation in international student enrollment. Provost Jing Luan and Associate Vice Provost Dr. David DeMaria and his team published Entry Points to US Education recently. Our 3 recent open access volumes on mapping community college led by Vice President of the Association of Community College Trustee, Dr. Robin Helms, have made the record of downloading as a highly read volume. Thank you, Dr. Helms. Our current volume, in collaboration with the American Association of Colleges and Universities on Global Pathway and STEM Education, projects are quite popular. Special thanks to AACNU, Vice President Dr. Whitehead, and VPs of the STEM Education, Dr. Kelly Mack, for their leadership and meaningful collaboration with the Star Scholars. I'm also pleased to share the 2 new projects on higher education leadership, edited by former Provost and Vice President Dr. Joanna Butler, former Chancellor Dr. Ding Jo Curry, President Edward Bello, and colleagues from UC Berkeley, Executive Leadership Academy. Their books will be published next week through Star Scholars. In addition, Senior International Officer and Director of International Programs and Graduate Education at Penn State, Dr. Anthony Ogden and his team have upcoming volumes scheduled for publications. Each year, we work over nearly 5,000 authors on their manuscript. We are busy. We are deeply grateful to growing number of certified reviewers whose expertise strengthen our dozens of journals and the book series. They add the measurable values to their resumes and CV, more importantly, contributed to the global exchange of ideas and in the democratization of knowledge. Nelson Mandela once said, education is most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. At Star Scholars, we see that power every day in research that informs policy, in stories that challenge the equity, and the scholarship that create opportunity for those who come next. I stand before you as the first person in my family to attend college, along with my dad, and became a university professor. That journey was not accomplished alone. It was shaped by the sacrifice of my parents, the encouragement of friends and the colleagues, and above all, the guidance of all of my mentors, especially Professor Emmanuel Sala, who is here with us in the room. Thank you, Dr. Sala. I remain deeply grateful. And I know many of you in the room share a similar story. Many of you are the first in the families to hold the positions you hold today. You are first generation leader, first generation scholar, first in the family pioneers. Congratulations. Your presence here represents the courage and perseverance and vision. As Maya Angelou reminded us, we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. That spirit of resilience defines the work we celebrate today. I met a visionary leader a few years ago, virtually, who has impacted millions of scholars and institutions through institutional thought leaders nationwide. I shared with her the idea of recognizing the stories and the impact of these first in the family scholar, practitioner, and change maker. Thank you, Dr. Courtney Brown, Vice President of Strategic Impact and Planning at Lumina Foundation, for your support of this project. 3 books have been published, and these volumes are freely available to our readers and members as an open access volume at no cost. By the way, we are meeting in person first time. And as you heard, from our president, we do have more books coming. First in the family president, first in the family professors. These volumes have been there. Print and digital copies of Star Scholars books and journals are available online. You can, contact our office for the bulk orders or request the desk copies for your classes or professional development. Finally, if anyone in this room carries a bold idea or manuscript waiting to be written, or a research project seeking a home, we would be honored to connect you with our editors and publication team. Your voice matters, your scholarship matters. Star Scholars has launched a new initiatives, including Book of the Year Award. Please consider your book. Global Education for Peace Award, Star Global Rankings, regional conferences, and several cross-border initiatives under the leadership of Dr. James Jacob, with our country directors across the 35 countries. We are present in 115 countries and collaborate with 2,353 colleges and universities. Thank you once again for being the part of this journey. I appreciate it.
First in the family, we rise. 8 years strong, Star Scholars. First in the family, let's go. From village roads to university halls. First in the family, we breaking down walls. Volume 1, hear the voices speak. Dreams turn bold from the brave and the meek. Krishna Vista lighting pathways wide. Courtney Brown with impact as our guide. Lee building leaders worldwide. Scholarship and heart standing side by side. 3 volumes deep, resilience loud, leadership rising, transformation proud, migration stories belong and found, turning small beginnings into global ground. Lumina backing vision with belief, access and equity, bringing relief. Project editor shaping the frame, Merca, Megan, Hammond, Sutton, name by name. First in the family, we rise, we lead. Planet tomorrow with every seed. Star scholars, shining far and wide. Legacy strong, we walk with pride. First in the family, we rise, we lead. Planet tomorrow with every seed. Star scholars, shining far and wide. Legacy strong, we walk with pride. Who are we? First in the family, do we think? Star scholars, what do we build? Legacy.
Courtney Brown. Dr. Courtney Brown is the Vice President of Impact and Planning at the Lumina Foundation, where she oversees strategic planning, learning, impact, effectiveness, and international engagement. She joined Lumina in 2011 with strong expertise in performance measurement, research, evaluation, following her work as the Senior Research Associate at Indiana University's Center for Evaluation and Education Policy. She has authored manuals, papers, articles, and books in undergraduate research, performance measurement, randomized controlled trials, and evaluation methods, and has led numerous webinars on workshops in these areas. Along with this editorial service, she serves on the advisory board for first-generation student success for the Western Governors University in Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Dr. Courtney Brown.
That was quite the song. Impressive, whoever the author was. Maybe this is part of AI that we'll talk about later, but well done if it was a person. So thank you so much and good afternoon. I am truly honored to be with all of you today and with all of these amazing speakers. To gather in a space filled with scholars and practitioners and leaders and students is really impressive, especially with the care. You care so deeply about higher education and equity. So today we're talking about a book. This is more than a book or a book launch. It's a celebration of voices, of courage, and of possibility. We're launching 3 volumes at once, as you just heard, each one elevating the experience of students who are the first in their family to pursue higher education. Taken together, these books tell a story that stretches across continents. They reveal courage across cultures. They echo shared aspirations that connect families and communities around the world, and they remind us that first-generation students are not at the margins of higher education. They are at its heart. For those who may be less familiar with us, Lumina Foundation is an independent private foundation in the United States dedicated to increasing post-secondary opportunity to attainment and ensuring that learning after high school leads to opportunity and real prosperity. At Lumina, our work is grounded in clear belief. Education is a public good. Talent is universal. Opportunity is not. Our mission is to expand opportunity to post-secondary learning and to confront the inequities that shape who gets to succeed. In the US, we partner with states that are setting ambitious attainment goals. We work with colleges and universities that are redesigning systems to better serve today's students, many of whom are adults, parents, and first in their family to attend college. We engage employers who are rethinking how they recognize skills and credentials. We support policy efforts that make learning after high school more affordable, more transparent, and more connected to real opportunity. At the center of all that work is a simple question: who is being served well and who is not? First-generation students are central to that question. They represent a growing share of learners in many countries. Their success is not a side issue. It is fundamental to whether higher ed systems are truly delivering on their promise. That is what drew us to support the First in the Family book series. Lumina has long respected the work of the STAR Scholars Network and its commitment to advancing research and dialogue across borders. One of our earlier collaborations, Transforming Lives at the Institutional Level, Equity Promotion Initiatives Across the World, explored how institutions in different countries are intentionally advancing equity. That project highlighted the power of institutional leadership and policy design to create environments where more students can thrive. The First in the Family series builds on that foundation in a deeply human way. If Transforming Lives focused on systems and structures, these volumes focus on lived experience. They help us see and feel what those systems mean in real lives, because stories shape systems. At Lumina, we rely on data to guide our strategy. We track attainment rates, we analyze gaps by race, income, and geography. We work to understand how credentials translate into economic mobility. Data is essential. It helps us measure our progress and hold ourselves accountable. But data alone do not capture what it feels like to step onto a campus where no one in your family has studied before. It doesn't fully represent the weight of expectation, the quiet self-doubt, or the determination that fuels persistence. It cannot describe the pride of earning a degree that changes the trajectory of an entire family. These volumes do. Across their pages, we meet students balancing work and study, students translating complex systems for their parents while learning to navigate academic culture for themselves, students crossing borders in pursuit of education. We see financial strain and cultural tension. We also see resilience, leadership, and transformation. Several lessons emerge clearly. First, access is necessary, but it's not sufficient. Expanding enrollment matters, but what happens after students arrive matters just as much. Advising, financial aid, pedagogy, and campus climate all shape whether students persist. Belonging is not an abstract idea, it is a condition for success. Second, these stories challenge deficit thinking. First-generation students are often described in terms of what they lack. These narratives show what they bring: determination, perspective, community-rooted knowledge, a fierce commitment to opening doors for others. When institutions recognize and build on these strengths, higher education becomes more dynamic and more just. Third, the global perspective deepens our understanding. While policy contexts differ from country to country, the theme of aspiration, uncertainty, courage, and growth resonate across borders. That shared experience invites learning. It encourages us to ask what practices travel, what innovations inspire, and how we can strengthen systems everywhere. For Lumina, that aligns directly with our commitment to expanding post-secondary attainment in equitable ways. If first-generation students thrive, nations move closer to realizing education as a true public good. If they struggle without support, inequities deepen. So how should we use this set? We should use it to inform policy debates. We should use it to inform institutional strategy. We should use it in classrooms and leadership retreats. We should allow these stories to influence how we design systems, allocate resources, and define success. Most of all, we should let them remind us of why we do this work. Behind every attainment goal is a person navigating new terrain. Behind every equity initiative is a student wondering whether they belong. When we keep these human stories at the center, our work becomes more focused and more urgent. I'm honored to be here with all of you today as we celebrate these volumes. Lumina is proud to support this series and grateful for the editors and the contributors who brought these voices forward. May these books travel widely. May they spark conversation across countries and across sectors. And may they help us build higher education systems worthy of the talent and courage reflected on every page. Thank you so much.
I'd like to call several names to front here, Dr. Brown. Stay with us. Again, Dr. Williams, Dr. Washington, President Washington, Delegate Bandari, Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Helms, Dr. Saleh, Dr. Mani, and Mr. Vista.
Got my name in a song and a really big.
This is again celebrating. If you can go ahead and open it. There are more names. Yes. Okay, so we've got see Dr. Brown, Dr. Toro, Dr. Williams, Dr. Washington, Dr. Bandari, Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Helms, Dr. Saleh. This is the launch of the First in the Family. We have the opportunity to hear from the STAR Director for Cross Borders Initiatives, which is Nella Navarro. She unfortunately was not able to be here this evening. And she's going to also discuss some wonderful initiatives with the academic wellness program. So with the wonderful work that Nella has achieved with Cross Borders, we have, again, the Vice President, Dr. Jacob here of that program. But Nella, just again, I know you wanted to be here, but again, had an unfortunate accident, but just wish gentle healing for you and look forward to when we can connect again. Just want to welcome you for being here.
Thank you. Can I speak? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So thank you. It's very brief. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry that I could not be with you in person. Greetings to this extraordinary global community. My message is very brief, but very heartfelt. For me, it's an incredible and profound honor to be here at the Start Global Futures Forum as we celebrate this incredible milestone. For me, I see this as 8 years of shaping a humane world. I want to extend my very deep gratitude to the Star Scholar leadership team, with a very special thanks to our President, Dr. Gali, and our Vice President, Dr. Bissa, for their visionary guidance. I also want to, of course, thank you, Dr. Keith Wright, as our Master of Ceremonies and our Vice President of Cultural Affairs, for all of your tremendous efforts in leading our program. I stand before you today not simply as a participant, but as a very deeply proud member, an on-the-ground member of this network. I have the privilege of serving as a Director of Cross-Border Initiatives, as Dr. Wright has just noted, under the leadership of Dr. James Jacob, who will tell us a little bit about our country director initiatives, which are extraordinary And I want a great big shout out to all the amazing, extraordinary colleagues who are on this phone call today, representing Nepal, representing Austria, representing Croatia, representing Nigeria, representing Argentina, representing Greece, representing the Philippines, Sunita, Bridget, Andrea, and Didi, Maria, Marina, Rania, Arlene. Thank you for being here, and so many more. Looking at everyone, and of course, I'm particularly here as the Wellness Ambassador under the leadership of Dr. Makita Sparkman-Key. Looking at everybody in this Zoom meeting today, I see the soul and the heartbeat of our Star Scholars Network mission. Again, grateful to everyone who's here. I know that for example, our country directors are generously engaged in transformational work on the ground through their research, their teaching, and their tireless community engagement. It is that work that turns the network vision and mission of social impact into a daily true reality. The theme today, our focus on ethical AI, on equity, and particularly for this section, first generation success, speaks to our mission to honor and uphold our common humanity as professionals in higher education. It reminds us that while technology and borders may evolve and shift, our commitment to each other must remain steadfast. To that end, I'd like to think of my next 2 minutes or so, or less, I hope, as an invitation. I want to invite you, all of you who are here, and a special invitation to my country directors, my colleagues, and to everybody who's here to join our academic wellness efforts. These are our efforts to understand that the focus on wellness, given all the things that everyone has said earlier today, all the important work that is being done, all of the loads that many of us are carrying, it is more important today as the future of the academy shifts. It will require more from us. It's already requiring perhaps even too much. And if you're like me, I hear it. I know that many here on this call, you're dedicated to higher education globally, which means we answer the call no matter how strenuous, no matter how demanding it gets. We all do it. But we cannot pour from an empty cup. Our collective impact deeply depends on our shared well-being. We have had the opportunity to build an incredible community and focus on academic wellness. And we really need you to join us as an academic wellness ambassador. We are doing research and training and workshops and reaching out to each other to spread wellness across scholarly environments and to make it not something that is done once in a while or for a special event, but as central to the work that we do for sustainability. Please consider representing your country as an academic wellness director, contributing to the planning of wellness programming, toolkits, scholarly publications, and annual conferences. We need you in our focus on wellness. Please do consider joining us. And if you happen to be here at this event for the first time, I really hope that you feel the extraordinary energy of this global community, this global family, and that you are inspired to join our mission by becoming a sustained member of the Star Scholar Network. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your generosity, for your vision, and for your heart. I hope you continue to enjoy the brilliance of this global forum together as we continue. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Professor Navarro. Next, we have the opportunity to hear from Dr. Robin Helms from the Association of Community College Trustees. Again, focuses on the membership and educational services within the ACCT, where she oversees the membership engagement, trustee education, institutional programs. Recently, she has published 3 volumes of books and is one of our luminaries. Dr. Helms.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Star Scholars for the opportunity to be here today and to everyone in attendance for such a rich discussion so far. I'll draw the connection from first-gen student success in the last segment of the program, indeed success of all students, to AI, and further to global workforce development, and highlight how my organization, the Association of Community College Trustees, is approaching and contributing in this space. The Association of Community College Trustees, or ACCT, supports trustees, college presidents, and other leaders in institutional governance, the foundation of well-run, responsible, thriving institutions that serve as anchors of their communities and local economies. Mirroring the fundamental mission and purpose of community colleges, student success and workforce development are ultimately ACCT's raison d'etre, via the lens of institutional governance and policies that maximize community colleges' ability to deliver on these goals. As I know our other speakers will discuss in more detail, AI fluency has become crucial to student success and graduates' ability to contribute effectively to the workforce. Indeed, in our joint publication that's been mentioned a couple of times with ACCT and STAR Scholars, thank you, Dr. Bista, for your co-editing on this. There he is. Wonderful publication together. Authors from a variety of countries and contexts detailed the skills and competencies required for success in an interconnected workforce and world. Whether in nursing in the UK, automotive manufacturing in Indonesia, or engineering in India, digital literacy and the ability to use AI effectively as a tool were front and center among workforce needs. At ACCT, we're approaching AI as a component of student success and workforce development at both the macro and the micro levels. At the micro level, this is through educating community college trustees, many of whom are of, shall we say, a more seasoned demographic who may be less technologically inclined, on the types of policy decisions they need to be making at the governance level. These include academic use policies for students, faculty, and staff, data safety and ensuring student privacy is protected, budget decisions around institution-level AI tools that enable student success. For example, advanced student data tracking and early warning systems that a student may be struggling academically. How AI can support board operations, for example, by providing examples of CEO evaluation good practices and other key board responsibilities. How AI-related state and federal policies impact campus operations. And importantly, because trustees are often business and organizational leaders in their communities, what AI competencies are most critical to local economies so that college academic leaders can turn these into curriculum. At the macro level, we recognize that effective use of AI is one of the grand global challenges and opportunities of our time. Given their workforce alignment and particular strengths, we see potential for community colleges to contribute significantly to the global ecosystem of stakeholders working through all things AI. We've recently launched the ACCT Global Workforce Coalition, a community of practice connecting higher education, industry, and government worldwide to initiate, sustain, and expand partnerships that advance workforce development in support of community and national needs, global priorities, and shared challenges, such as AI. Addressing AI as a component of workforce development has been interwoven into the collaborations we've launched so far between community colleges in the US and their global counterparts in India and the UK, which have also engaged industry partners in fields such as sustainable construction, EV technology, fintech, and disaster management. We're bringing together experts to determine and deliver the concrete skills students need and connect students to the most advanced practices and technologies needed for workforce success wherever in the world those are found. When it comes to AI globally, we need all brains at the table, both to navigate challenges and to maximize the potential of AI to serve as a workforce tool, ultimately bolstering economic development and well-being at the local, national, and global levels. Convenings like this one are crucial, and ACCT and our Global Workforce Coalition look forward to continuing to contribute and collaborate. Thank you.
Dr. James Jacob is Vice President of Cross-Border Initiatives for the STAR Scholars Network and a recognized thought leader in higher education. Dr. Jacob currently is the Dean of the School of Education at Utah Valley University. With extensive work in strategic planning, quality assurance, and sustainable change management, he excels in leading cross-functional teams to drive measurable outcomes. His extensive expertise ensures successful implementation of initiatives that foster international collaboration and academic excellence. Please welcome Dr. Jacob.
What an honor to be here with each of you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. And I can share with you, it's an exciting time to live and to be able to talk about the unveiling of this topic that we wanted to share with you at Star Scholars Network. I wanted to also mention that one of the things that we did, this is a team effort, and I'm just a member representing the team led by Shen Sharma and colleagues from many different countries. In addition to these, we'll mention how many others will be helping us to kind of implement the framework that's the foundation that we wanted to share with you today. So to introduce this framework, we had talents from across our Star Scholars Network give suggestions. And one of those was by our talented MC today, by Keith. And this was an acronym that we wanted to introduce. And it starts with S, and the stewardship of the public good, trust through ethical practice, accountability is the A, to impact society, and then for STAR, completing that acronym, is the record of integrity in process and evidence. So I wanted to just kind of share a few highlights related to each of these, and then we'll point you to a website that is the precursor of the living guidelines that we hope you can have as a takeaway for today, and that we hope to be able to collaborate with you on if you have interests in this area. So the stewardship of the public good, a lot of this is ensuring that those who are engaged with AI, all of us, to one degree or another, are asking the right questions. That's a real foundation key area, meaning we don't just go to a search prompt and say, please answer this question, but probing it, critically thinking, how can we trust that this response that we're getting is accurate? So that's a real key foundation. And also that it's centered around a mission for the greater public good. We are stewards, especially in higher education institutions, to be able to champion that public good. So looking at areas where we lower harms, maximize public benefit, and pursuing sustainable environmental progress, and protecting kind of the overall knowledge ecosystem. Trust through ethical practice. This is an area that I have researched on, and it's one of my current areas of research focus. And it's so important to be able to curb the lack of trust that's been highlighted by President Gauli and others in this conference. But just to mention, telling our story, to be able to really champion the cause and to be able to ensure that our practices and processes are done in an ethical way. So it's intentional. Accountability is also important. It's critically assessing database or data set strengths, weaknesses, and also equitable representation and foregrounding societal consequences. So these are some of the highlights of this particular framework element that's crucial and foundational, the accountability aspect. And then the record of integrity in the process and also in evidence. Just to be able to showcase this, and one way that we can do this better is highlighting the advantages that AI can help us leverage. And it's not one through fear, but by being transparent, we're able to advocate and say that this is furthering my contributions or our contributions in research, and also advocating for kind of that transparency that we hope will be able to maintain and build public trust. So again, this is the kind of framework, if you will. It's that STAR acronym. And this is, if you will look at this web link, the URL, this is where you can go and find kind of the guidelines and takeaway. We also welcome your feedback as we are hoping to launch this and pilot this in at least 20 of our countries where we have very talented country directors. And all of those who will be interested, if you are interested in looking even beyond these borders, but at the very least 20 countries within our Star Scholars Network led by our team. Just wanted to highlight a few of the initiatives of our cross-border team here for 2026. We have a total of 29 country directors and others who are currently looking to expand and have be part of our Star Scholars Network family. And this is a lot of the outreach potential and that we have. This is our footprint, if you will, for the Star Scholars Network, but it's growing. It's well beyond this. This is an infographic that we've shared for at least the past year. And then in conclusion, we offer these guidelines for AI as training and partnership capacity. I know we've talked even before this conference, opportunities where we can collaborate with each other and help share this far and wide as much as we can and learn together as we go. There will undoubtedly be failures. That's part of innovation. And that's one of the things that is highlighted in the guidelines, that don't be afraid or don't use that as a roadblock or a wall, but rather as, okay, I stumbled, but let me continue to build the bridge that I hope to and that we can ethically through partnership with AI. So once again, the URL and the unveiling of the guidelines of the Star Scholars Network. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for being here. And finally, as we come together as a community, the Star Scholars Network has endured not because of structure alone, but because of spirit. A spirit of generosity, intellectual rigor, and unwavering belief in transformative power of education. And as we conclude the Star 8th anniversary celebration, and we look forward towards the 10th anniversary campaign, we are not simply marking time, we are marking responsibility. 8 years ago, a vision was planted. The scholarship can cross borders, that culture can soften divides, that relationships built in trust can outlast politics, outlast uncertainty, and outlast fear. I am reminded of a quote, "I can of myself do nothing. Only through and with the interconnected humanity of our world can we move forward in a circle of stewardship, a circle of building leadership, and a forming the next generation together." I thank you all for being here. I thank the Honorable Delegate, Dr. Bandari. I thank, again, Dr. Rodriguez, the esteemed President Washington, our luminaries, our esteemed guests, our distinguished guests that are here, our STAR VPs, our STAR directors. I wish you all a good evening, a good night, and a good morning for those that are viewing us internationally. And for the rest of us, it is time to celebrate with the reception downstairs. Thank you again, and have a wonderful and prosperous 2026.